everyone. My name is Ellie, and I'm an onboarding specialist here at 1Password. I wanted to thank you for sharing your time with me today to get you familiar with 1Password in our guided video and show you how you can use 1Password in your day-to-day work life. When we're done with today's video session, you should have all that you need to know to get up and running with the basics of 1Password. Just an overview of what today's presentation is going to be covering. I'll be going over exactly what 1Password is, as well as highlighting some of the benefits of using it. I'll then show you a live demonstration, which will cover exploring different key features, inputting already existing credentials and creating new ones using 1Password in your browser, and also where you can reach out to should you have any questions following the demonstration today. As an added bonus, for those of us using the business platform, each of you are also going to receive access to a free 1Password Families membership, and I'll be sharing where you can go ahead and redeem your free family membership and also add up to 4 other people as well for free. Now, to kick things off, I wanted to share a couple of statistics with you. Now, I know these might look a little bit scary, but they're a good reminder of why password managers are so important and why we're all here today. Did you know that back in 2023, the average cost of a data breach was recorded as $4.45 million, and about 81% of all of those data breaches are caused by weak or reused passwords, which are easily avoidable. Using a password manager like 1Password helps us lower these security risks and also save us lots of time throughout our day. Not only is 1Password an excellent tool for security, but it's also awesome for productivity. So I'll be sharing lots of tips and tricks to help you save some extra time throughout your work days. Now, for maximum security, we should really be using a different password for every single one of our logins. Understandably though, these might get hard to memorize, and it could resort to us tracking some of these passwords on things like spreadsheets or sticky notes, which I'm sure, as you all already know, is not the safest and not the most secure. Passwords act as like locks and keys to import our data. In order to be secure, they need to be protected by long, strong, but also random credentials for every one of these accounts. And this is just so that we can feel safe and confident knowing that our most sensitive data has been protected. Now, by incorporating this great password hygiene into all of our daily routines, this is going to help us build that confidence while minimizing the risk. And as that added bonus, saving you lots of time throughout your work days. Now, if we're just getting started with 1Password and we're wondering a little bit more about what it is and how it works, in a nutshell, 1Password is a password manager, and it's designed to keep you, your business information, and all of our colleagues safe while we are online. 1Password is also going to help us break away from any previous bad and unsafe habits by generating, saving, and filling all of your passwords in for you. Now, the beauty of the platform is it's available across all of your different devices, your Macs, iOS, Windows, and Androids, and all of those different browsers that you use, Safari, Chrome, Firefox, and more. So you'll always have your information with you, and any changes that you make on one of those devices becomes immediately available to you everywhere else. You can use 1Password to help keep your colleagues safe by securely sharing information with other people in your company or specific teams, and it also provides us with a bit of active security protection. So you're going to become alerted when there are any password breaches, and you are also informed when any weak or vulnerable passwords have been used. Now, at this time, I'm going to transition to the demonstration portion of our presentation today, and we are going to be starting right from the sign-in page of your 1Password account. We're going to be using single sign-on in order to get ourselves logged into 1Password today. So if you haven't already, you should be receiving an email invite from your team in your work inbox to join 1Password. Now, because we're using single sign-on, you'll be able to use your single sign-on credentials in order to unlock the 1Password apps. So in this case, your single sign-on credentials becomes the 1Password that you need to memorize to open up the 1Password apps. Now, our design of single sign-on maintains one of our core values. Only you should have the keys to unlock your data. 1Password nor your single sign-on provider will ever know or store these keys, and data is only accessible by you. Single sign-on works through a device trust model, so passwords are only able to be decrypted on your approved devices. If you need to start using 1Password on a new device, you will need to approve the new device by entering a code which is sent to your previous devices. So behind the scenes, each device provides a strong cryptographic key, while your single sign-on provider is making sure that only you can unlock 1Password. This means that neither 1Password nor your single sign-on provider has the information necessary to access your passwords. Now, let's take a look at the unlocking of 1Password with single sign-on in action. So from our team's sign-in page, it's important to note that I have already added this browser as a trusted device. This is the same browser that I used to sign up and create my 1Password account, which will also become your first trusted device. Now from here, you can select the button that lists sign in with your single sign-on provider. I'm using Okta for today, and it's going to ask you for a couple of pieces of information. You will need to enter your single sign-on email, and you can choose next. And you'll also have to enter your single sign-on account password and select verify. If you have any trouble getting yourself logged in, you can reach out to your internal 1Password administrators, and they can send to you what's called an account recovery. The recovery process looks very similar as the one you went through when you signed up and created your 1Password account. You will receive an email to your work inbox, which is asking you to sign back into 1Password in the web. Once you click on that link and you sign yourself into 1Password, the browser that you use becomes your first trusted device, and you can sign right back in again. Now, it's important that you sign up and create your account, but you also add a new trusted device straight away. And this way you have multiple locations that you can sign into your 1Password account. The way 1Password works with your single sign-on providers is by using a verification code that you can only get from trusted devices or places that you have signed into before. Once you have created your 1Password account in the browser, you can click on your name at the top right-hand side and select Get the Apps. We highly recommend downloading the desktop app to your device, and you can find in our Get the Apps page instructions for Mac, Windows, and Linux, and signing straight into the desktop app. Now, once you've added your credentials into the desktop app, you will be asked for a verification code. You'll want to come back to the browser that you originally created your account on. It's the same one I have open here. Click on your name at the top right-hand side and select My Profile. And this is where you can verify that pending device, which is likely the desktop app. Under the Pending Devices section, you can select Verify for the device that you just attempted to sign into. And this is going to spit out a verification code, which is 6 digits. You can copy and paste the verification code from this page here into the desktop app. Once the verification code is accepted, your desktop app becomes a secondary trusted device. Any devices that have been trusted can then also receive and give out verification codes in the future. Now, it's important to have multiple trusted devices, as this gives you multiple places that you can sign into, and this greatly reduces the chances that you will need an account recovery. So coming back to our main home page here, after you have successfully signed up and created your account and maybe added that secondary trusted device, you might be noticing a few boxes here on your home screen, and these are going to represent vaults that you've been given access to inside of the platform. Now, when you're first signed up, you'll notice that you have access to your employee vaults straight away, but you might need to wait for access to any shared vaults. There's 2 different types of vaults inside of 1Password. Your designated employee vault is truly private to you. No admins or owners can see inside of these vaults. However, there are different team vaults that have likely been assigned to you based on your role at the company, and until an admin confirms your account, you will only have access to your employee vault. So be on the lookout for some additional shared vaults that have been assigned to you. Now, we're probably wondering, what is a vault? A vault in 1Password is an encrypted container, which you can use to store and organize your data. So depending on your use case, if you need a login to be private to you and it's work-related, you can keep that inside of your employee vault. If something needs to be shared, you can import this into one of your team vaults. Now, because we're going to have access to our employee vault straight away, let's go ahead and click into here and we'll open this up first. Now, your employee vault should only contain work-related items, and you can always sign up for the family account if you're on the business platform in order to separate your personal data. To get started with your employee vault, you might be noticing an item in here that's got your name on it, and this is called your identity card. If you're not seeing the identity card automatically created for you, you can always create your own by selecting New Item at the top right-hand side of your employee vault. Select Identity here from the list, and you can create your own identity card. And I like to call this my online identity. Your identity card here is going to store some personal details about yourself, which can be autofilled for you in the future. If you'd like to add some more details to your own identity card some point down the line, click on the identity card and choose Edit at the top right-hand side, and you can add lots of different types of fields. Maybe a business phone number or a business address, something like an occupation title, your birthday. There's lots of different fields that you can fill out here, and we recommend doing this as soon as you sign up. Once you've added a couple pieces of information to your own identity card, choose Save at the top right-hand corner, and then all of those changes have been tracked for you. Now, if you needed to navigate to a different vault that we saw on our home page, there's a drop-down menu at the top left-hand side of our screen. If you give that a click, your different shared vaults will be listed underneath. And let's visit the Finance Team vault. Now, vaults inside of 1Password are permission-based, so you might notice that you don't have all of the same capabilities inside of your team vaults as you do inside of your employee vault. This is not a red flag. This is just a security feature where your administrators have control to set certain permissions within shared vaults just to make sure data does not go missing. If you ever need updated permissions, you can reach out to your administrators and they can always update those permissions as needed for you. Now, I wanted to take you back to some housekeeping items. So we'll navigate to the drop-down menu here at the top left, and we'll visit the My Profile page again, which you can find if you select Manage Account right underneath. On top of being the location where you can manage and verify any pending devices that you might be adding to get signed into 1Password, you'll also notice a couple pieces of information that are familiar to you. Your email address here will be listed. There's also a business support number that you can call if you ever need support with your 1Password account. And a common piece of feedback that I normally receive when teams first get started is the auto lock function. Sometimes you might be finding that this web page might lock a little bit often on you. So if you click on the gear menu here next to auto lock, yours will be set to only 10 minutes when you first get started. If you wanted to have more time that this web page will stay unlocked, 300 minutes here is the maximum after you click save. Now you'll also notice there's an option here for the business accounts to sign up for your free 1Password Families membership. If you select the button here that says redeem now, you can either sign up and create your own account. And as a best practice, be sure to use a personal email here so that you have a nice separation between your work life and your personal one. Or you can apply this voucher to an existing family membership and redeem that existing membership for free plus 4 other people. Now, it's important to note that work cannot recover your family accounts, so we'll be sharing some best practices for how you can set up your own recovery plan for the family memberships. Now, a common question that we receive with the family accounts is what is going to happen to this membership if or when I leave my company? If or when you do leave, this account is going to enter a 14-day free trial, so you have regular service for 2 weeks. Once those 2 weeks are up, the account enters a frozen read-only state, so you can still sign in and look at all of your details, you just cannot change data. At that time, you can add a credit card and service will be restored, or you can also extract and continue on with a different service if you prefer. But as long as you have your login credentials, you will always have your family account available. Now, downloading 1Password, you would have also been prompted to download a 1Password browser extension during the sign-up process, and that is the small little 1Password icon that we see at the top right-hand side of my screen here. If you've already created your account and you're not seeing the browser extension, check to see if you have a puzzle piece. Sometimes the extension is a little bit shy and it likes to hide, so if you click on the puzzle piece, be sure to pin this to the top so that you can always see the browser extension. Now, the extension also has its own auto lock. So if you ever notice a little lock icon in front of the extension, this means that the browser extension has temporarily timed out. In order to unlock your browser extension, you'll have to sign back in with your single sign-on provider, and it takes you right back to your main sign-in screen. Once you sign back in with your credentials, the little lock disappears in front of the browser extension, and this means it's back online and ready to go. Now, the browser extension is the most intuitive experience to use 1Password in the web. This is your connection to autofill. If you need to download your own browser extension, if this step was somehow missed during the sign-up process, you can click or get the apps page and follow the steps here to download 1Password for your own browser. And this should be smart enough to know which browser that you're coming from, and you can follow the steps listed here. Be sure as well, once you finish downloading, you pin this to the top of your toolbar. Now, the final step for getting started with 1Password is to import your information over from different services. If you click on your name at the top right-hand side of your homepage, you can select Import to find a library of different resources for importing passwords from various applications. Whether you are coming from browser keychains, which are listed at the top, different paid services in the middle here, or maybe just simply a spreadsheet or a CSV file. You can click on one of the options and follow the steps to move your passwords over from different services. Now, if you are coming from something like a browser keychain, after you have followed the steps, you likely would have downloaded a file to your device. If you have downloaded a file with your passwords, after importing into 1Password, be sure to delete that file download from your device so that if your device ever became compromised, you don't have a list of your passwords laying around. Now, just to recap some of the key points for getting started with your account. You would have received, if you haven't already, an email from 1Password asking you to join your team, and you're going to be using your single sign-on provider to get yourself logged into 1Password. We highly recommend downloading the desktop app, which if you click your name over here and select Get the Apps, you can download your own desktop app and sign straight into it using your single sign-on credentials. You will be asked for a verification code, and you'll have to come back to the browser that you originally created your account and select the My Profile page in order to collect your own verification code. Once you have added the verification code to that new device, it becomes another secondary trusted device, which can then receive and send verification codes to you in the future. Now, we also recommend having the browser extension downloaded for your preferred browser, as this is your connection to autofill. And if you're coming from different password management services, you can use our import tool to help you seamlessly bring information over. Now, at this stage, we might be wondering, well, what if we have any passwords that have either been written down or memorized? What is the easiest way to save these types of credentials? The easiest way to save passwords if they have been memorized is just by logging in as you normally do each and every day. So here's an example of a website that I do have a memorized password for, and the way that we get started is just by logging in as we normally do. So let's go ahead and add our details. Now you'll want to resist the offer to save inside of 1Password until you have all of your credentials typed out, so username and account password. If you're on a website which forces you to click Next before you type out your account password, I believe Amazon does this, click Next and it will remember anything from your previous page. So from here, you can go ahead and select Save inside of 1Password, and this is going to bring up a confirmation, which is basically letting you know from 1Password the information here that you're trying to save and where inside of the platform this is going to end up. Now, for logins that have longer titles, I actually like to change these to acronyms. I find them a lot easier to search for inside of the platform. And you can also use tags as a way to help you keep organized. You can add a subject to your items and it makes them easier to search for. So let's add a couple here. I'll select IT and click next to the fields. And let's also add the 2024 tag. Now, before we go ahead and save, we'll want to note the destination of where this login is going to be saved. By default, new logins will always offer to be saved to your employee private vault. If you click on the drop-down menu here, you might be seeing some additional team vaults based on the permissions that you've been given. Now, if I were to import this into the finance team vault, that means that everyone a part of that vault would receive the login and plus all of its updates. So vaults inside of 1Password are not only the most secure ways to share, but also the most efficient. Now, this login is unique to me and I don't want to share this, so we'll keep this in the default, which is my employee vault, and click Save. Now that saves a login with our password manager. It's also an important step here. Log into the website, and that way we make sure we save the correct credentials. Now that we've just saved our first login together, let's go ahead and log out here, and I'll show you what autofill looks like. The next time I'm on this web page and I need to log in, I'll click on an empty field, and we have a suggestion here from 1Password with our credentials. It's able to fill in all of those fields for us so that we can quickly get ourselves logged in. Now from here, let's return back to our 1Password account, and I wanted to share what your logins are also going to start to look like. Opening up our employee vault, there's our login here at the top, and you can always confirm your information from here. Your username and password is available to be copied at any time. If you click on the little drop-down menu next to your password, you can also reveal this. Now for logins, you'll also notice that you have a little string circle located over here on the right-hand side. This is 1Password's Watchtower feature. This is your backend security protection, which is going to be letting you know the health of what that password looks like for your logins. Now, the goal with these strength circles is to be bright green and completely filled in. And as we can see here, mine's looking a little bit bare, and it's also mentioning that I've got a terrible password, which is obviously the complete opposite of what I want. So if I go ahead and reveal this, you might be able to see what the problem is. Well, there you go. There's probably a good chance that this password might have been used at least once or twice in the past before. So Watchtower is flagging this and letting me know that I could probably upgrade this password to something stronger. Now don't worry, we'll definitely upgrade this together in just another moment, but I wanted to share another common experience with you. On top of importing your passwords or saving them manually like we just did together, you might run into a situation where you have to sign up for a brand new account. Here's an example of a website which I need to sign up for, and it's asking for tons of personal information. And honestly, I find these website forms to be a bit of a nightmare. They usually include a lot of typing. The good news is though, you can use 1Password to help autofill all of these types of details. Now to get the process started, if you click on a field here, which is asking for some personal information, we have a suggestion here from 1Password with that identity card that we created earlier. That's why we recommend having this filled in as soon as possible, and then you don't have to do any typing. So what I have to do from here is click on the suggestion, and we can sit back, let 1Password do its magic, and it fills in all available fields for me. Because we're creating a new account, we also have to select a new account password for this website. And when I click on the password field, we do have a suggestion, and that looks like a pretty good one. It's pretty long as well as strong and random, but you can actually change the type of suggestion you are receiving. If you wanted to do this along with me, go ahead and open up your browser extension, and you've actually got a password generator built right in. To find your own password generator, click on the menu button here at the top, and your password generator is right underneath. When you first get started, there's different types of passwords that you can choose from, but yours will automatically be set to a smart password, which means it's going to read the requirements on the website and suggest a password for you. Let's say you need at least 10 characters with X amount of numbers and symbols. Smart password is the way to go. Now, if you want to further customize your passwords, I love to set mine to random, but you can also choose a memorable password or just simply a PIN code. For those random passwords, let's say we're on a Pick Your website, you can reduce the character count by scrolling below, or you can also increase this to up to 100 characters. You can also choose if numbers and symbols are included in that password suggestion, and once you're happy with your template, turn this bottom tab here onto blue, and from now on, in my case, I will always receive a 94-character random password. Now don't worry, you're not going to be asked to memorize these. It is 1Password's job to fill them in whenever you need to. So once you're happy with the type of password that you have suggested, you can select autofill directly from the browser extension. Now that's going to fill in the last two fields for me, and because we're done with the form, 1Password recognizes it's time to save. So here's a confirmation of our details. We've got the title listed, and I think I'll leave it as it is. It looks pretty manageable. But just to keep organized, let's add the same tags that we had from earlier. So I'll use the IT tag and 2024. Now, before we save, we'll want to note the destination. If something is unique to you and work-related, you can keep that in the default to your employee vault. If this was a team login, you could import this into the shared vaults as long as you have the permissions to do so. Now, this login is unique to me, so we'll just keep that in the default, and we'll go ahead here and click Save. Now that saves the new login with our password manager. As a final step, make sure you create your account with the website so that it also generates a new membership for you. Now let's just go back to our 1Password account, and we'll compare those two logins. So here's the previous one, which I had a memorized password for, and here is our new login. Check out that strength circle now. Bright green, super healthy looking, and this is the goal. This is what we want to be seeing out of all of our passwords. This bright green circle here is signifying a really great password, but if we go ahead and reveal this, that looks like it would be pretty hard to guess or try to memorize. So using your password generator, you can achieve that peace of mind for all of your new credentials. Now, I've been talking a little bit about Watchtower, so I'm sure we're probably wondering, well, what is Watchtower and where can I find it? Watchtower is located on the left-hand side of one of your vaults. And if you click on Watchtower, it's going to give you a score as to what the health of all of the passwords in that current vault look like. Watchtower is organizing your passwords based on several different categories for you. You can hover over the green bar to show your really great passwords, or maybe you have a couple here in the red like mine, which signify passwords that should be changed. If you have any categories showing up below, you can click on the category and find all of the passwords that have been organized based on that Watchtower category. Now it does look like I have a weak password saved, so if I go ahead and click on this section here, it's going to list all of the weak passwords that I have. And to no one's surprise, it is that previous password that I saved when we first get started with that memorized piece of information. So let's go about changing this. Changing over your passwords works exactly how it has in the past. We have to log into the website first and follow their instructions to change over our information. Now I'll share a really great productivity tip with you. Once you have logins saved into your 1Password account, you can click on your browser extension here and search for these logins. This is where it's handy to use acronyms. If you hover over the website that you'd like to open up, there's an option here for Open and Fill. This is a fast way to open up the website, fill in your credentials, and quickly get yourself logged in. Now that we're inside of the website, we might need to visit either the Profile section or Security section here, but this is what you're looking for, the current versus new password change form. To start this process, click on the top field, which is asking for your current credentials. In my case, I could probably type out the word password, but autofill saves you lots of time, and 1Password fills in our current password information. Now, when I click on the new password field, we've already created a template, so I can just take the first suggestion from now on. That's a 90-something character random password. So clicking on the suggestion, it fills in both available fields for me, and we're done with the form, so 1Password recognizes it's time to save again. Now for this example, we've already changed the title and our tags are set, so is the destination, so all I need to do here is just click Update. Now that updates the password with our password manager. As a final step, submit your changes to the website so that the website also tracks our password change. So let's just go back here and we'll make sure we've cleared out our issue. If I click on Watchtower, well, it looks like we're back in the green, and green means go, so that's a good sign. But just to double check, we'll open up all of the items within that vault and click on our login, and now look at our strength circle. We've achieved that bright green, healthy looking circle, which is signifying a really great password for that website. Not only can you use the password generator to update any credentials that you might currently have, but you can also generate new ones for any websites that you're signing up for. 1Password in your browser makes it super easy to update your security. Now, another example I wanted to share with this website is how to add timed one-time password codes. You might have websites that support using 1Password as an authenticator, which means you can save MFA codes inside of the login itself. This will also be a Watchtower category. So after you have some logins saved, if you like to see a list of websites that support using 1Password as a timed one-time password, you can click on Watchtower and they will be identified as their own category. Now, I know this website will support using 1Password as an authenticator, so let's go ahead and set this up together. Very similar to changing over our password, we'll have to log into the website, and there's our new credential there. So we'll get ourselves logged in and follow the website steps in order to add a second factor of authentication. Hopping into security settings, we'll select Set up two-factor, and what you're looking for is a QR code from the website. Now you've actually got a QR code scanner located right inside of your browser extension. So if you go ahead and open up your extension, in order to scan this QR code, click on the three dots here. If you hover over it, it says More Options. And once you're in front of a QR code, this option here, Scan QR Code, will show up for you. Once I select Scan QR Code, it copies your one-time password information directly into your login credentials. Now, in order for us to move forward, we have to actually enter the code into the website. So if you click on the field here, that should already be suggesting as something that 1Password can populate for you. So there's our code. We'll select Submit, which finishes the setup. Now, the next time we need to go and log into this website, it's going to ask me for my username and password, but also that second factor of authentication, which has already been autofilled for us. Now, coming back into our account, you might run into a situation where we want to save different types of items inside of the platform. A lot of folks think that 1Password is just used for logins, and while that's partially true, you can actually use the platform to save a lot more than just your login items. Now, if you click on the New Item option here at the top right-hand side of one of your vaults, these represent all of the different types of templates that you can save for different items inside of your vaults. You can use 1Password to save things like credit cards, passwords, email accounts, passports, the list goes on, and these are also available with your family membership. For our example, let's pretend we want to upload a document. So you can choose an item here from the list, and the first thing that we'll have to do is give this a name. So let's call this an NDA. To upload a document, you can select Add File from the list here, or you can use my favorite method, the very handy drag and drop right into the middle. While you're uploading a document or an item, you can add some notes to give it some extra context. And let's continue with our tags from earlier. We'll use the IT tag and click next to the field, and we'll also add the 2024 tag. So now that we've just added a couple pieces of information with our document, we're ready to save. Go ahead and click Save at the bottom right. Now that we've just uploaded our document, you'll notice that we have a new category that's popped up over here on the left-hand side. Categories represent all of the active items that we currently have within that vault. So you can always click through the categories in order to find different types of items. Now, if you wanted to organize these different categories based on a common subject, well, that is the function of your tags, which are right underneath. You can use tags as another way to search for things and help you keep organized. Now, one of the final things that I wanted to share with you before we move on to talking about the family accounts is how you can move things around inside of 1Password. Let's say in our example here, this is a shared license for an account, so I want to share this with the finance team. If you ever had to move a login from one vault to the vault of your choice, select the login and choose the 3 vertical dots on the right-hand side here. Now again, this will be permission-based, so you might have to reach out to your administrators if you're not seeing this option and you need to move something into a shared vault. When I select Move here, it's going to be sharing all of the vaults that I have sharing permissions into. We want to share this with the finance team, so when I go ahead here and select Finance, that login is going to disappear from the current location. Now let's just make sure that went to the right location, so I'll use the drop-down menu on the top left to open up the finance team vault. And there's our login for us. So immediately this has been shared with the entire finance team, and they also have access to the one-time password code. While not all websites will support using 1Password as an authenticator, there are some websites that require you to use a true second factor of authentication. This is a useful feature to have. If you do have a login to a website that is shared, this is a lot safer of an option compared to texting or emailing codes back and forth. Everyone has an encrypted version of the login stored inside of 1Password that's easily accessible. Now, I hope that's been helpful in terms of the business accounts. From here, I wanted to move on to how you can get started with your family membership. Once you have redeemed your own family account, you're going to have a different way to get yourself logged in. You are going to be using the traditional 1Password account login method. When you are logging into your own account, you're going to be asked to change your own account password for the family membership, and make sure that this is different than what you used for your work accounts for your single sign-on provider. After you have logged into your account, if you'd like to add your family membership to the browser extension so that you can easily use both simultaneously in the web, feel free to click Add at the top right-hand side here. We highly recommend, after you have downloaded your own family account, click your name at the top right-hand side and select My Profile. This is where you can find a copy of your emergency kit for your family account, and you'll want to hang on to this as this contains some important sign-in details for you to be able to hang on to. I'm going to download my own emergency kit, and we'll explain some of the key features here. You'll want to keep your emergency kit somewhere safe, so we recommend printing this off and storing this in a safety deposit box, maybe the same place where you keep your will or your passports, and write down your account password so that you always have this information. If you'd like to keep a digital copy somewhere privately, like a Google storage drive, make sure if you do have a digital copy of this emergency kit, you do not write down your account password. Now, your emergency kit is broken down into 5 different key parts. You've got your personal sign-in address at the top. You've also got your personal email address that you use to sign up with. And you've also been issued your own unique secret key. Now, this secret key, don't worry, you're not going to be asked to memorize this. After you have signed into your family account for the first time on a new device or a new browser, this secret key becomes memorized by your device, so you only ever need this upon the first time signing in. This is like 1/2 of the whole to create the full encryption key to your 1Password account. Your secret key is locally generated the second you sign up. It's a 34-letter and number string, which is going to be protecting data off of your device. So someone who attempts a brute force attack on our servers cannot decrypt your account without your secret key, which only you have. Now, your account password, on the other hand, is going to be protecting data on your device. So someone at home who might have access to any shared technology, such as a home iPad, will not be able to unlock your 1Password account without your account password, which of course you have as well. Towards the bottom of your emergency kit, you've also got this setup code, which you can scan and add 1Password to some different applications. And this will populate all of the above details for you so that you only need to type out your account password. After the first time signing in to a device, you can use biometric unlock on your mobile and desktop apps in order to easily get you signed into your family account. So once you have successfully saved a copy of your emergency kit, and you can always find this in the My Profile section, we highly recommend as well setting up account recovery codes so that you have a recovery backup. Now, you'll also have up to 4 other people as well for free inside of the platform, and this also comes into play for a recovery. If you'd like to add some more people, select invitations from the sidebar here, and you can invite either family, friends, or members of the community here by email. They will follow a sign-up process that is very similar to the one that you went through. They will create their own account password for the family membership and download their own emergency kit. You'll have to sign off on their membership. You'll receive a notification at the bell, which is just at the top right-hand side. And once they've been confirmed, they're a fully active user within your family membership. Now, once someone is fully confirmed into the account, navigate to the people page here. And I've added my mom, as we can see. And in order to have a backup recovery plan, you'll want to have at least one other family organizer. Family organizers have recovery permissions, so if you ever forget your account password, you can always reach out to another family organizer within the platform, and this offers you a backup. In case you forget your information, you've always got at least one other person that you can reach out to. We cannot recover accounts over here at 1Password. This is only something that you will have access to inside of your own account. So by having multiple family organizers, this really helps with a recovery backup plan. Navigating back to our home page here, you can use your family accounts to store lots of different pieces of information. You'll have the opportunity to create your own vaults to store things like family documents, maybe information about different locations like a home location to store Wi-Fi codes or streaming services, even important documents for a trip that you have coming up. 1Password for families is a great way to secure your personal life. So if you're loving using the business platform, feel free to sign up for the family account and share with 4 other people as well. This wraps up the bulk of what I had to share with you today. Now, before we go ahead and share some contacts that you can reach out to, I just wanted to share a couple of key takeaways from our presentation today. Now, I know we covered a lot of information, but just talking about some of the key points, we looked at unlocking 1Password with your single sign-on credentials, and it's important to add a secondary trusted device straight away. We also looked at adding existing credentials and new ones into 1Password, using Watchtower to improve some of those passwords, and finally, where to redeem your free 1Password Families membership, which is just in the My Profile section of your business accounts. All right, I hope our presentation today has been helpful. If you have any questions following the video today, visit us at support.1password.com for some helpful articles and extra contacts, or feel free to email us at support.1password.com. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. If you have any questions, please do feel free to reach out to us. Thanks again for watching, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks, folks.